Assalamu alaikum, and thank you, Asta, for the introduction. I'd like to welcome you again to our second half of the day, where we will start with a great panel discussion with 3 of our current industry leaders. During this one-on-one discussion, we will delve deeper into their own career journeys and how industry played a crucial role as a solution provider, and more on their personal views of the youth's vital role in the advancement of the regional chemical industry. Please join me in welcoming on stage our speakers for the session, whom collectively have more than 90 years of experience. First on stage, we have Dr. Mohammed Yousef Al-Mulla, who is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Qatar Petrochemical Company, QAPCO, a pioneer in petrochemical production in the Middle East. Second, we have Mr. Mutlaq Al-Morished, Chief Executive Officer of Tasnee, one of the largest Saudi diversified industrial companies. And third, we have Mr. Abdullah Al-Saadoon, the Chief Executive Officer of Sahara International Petrochemical Company, Sipchem. I'd like to start off first by saying that it is a great pleasure to have you all here.
Thank you.
I'll definitely start off with the questions right away. So, taking a look back at your early stages of your careers, looking back to your 20s, and especially taking into consideration the age of our audience, what did you think your career would look like then, and how, in comparison to what it is now?
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. بقول كلمتين بس باللغة العربية. ما شاء الله على بناتنا وأولادنا منورين، يعني صراحة أنتم جيل المستقبل إن شاء الله. يعني when I'm still younger. So she said when you were 25 years ago. I always consider my age 25 years. Otherwise, if I think old, I will never develop or really think of the future will be good. When I graduated many years ago from USA as an electrical engineer, young engineer with a good degree, having a good scholarship, 5 years studying in USA, then back to work. So I came back, I said I will be an engineer for a number of years, and then I don't know what will happen. But alhamdulillah, I think in 3 years, normally when you graduate with any degree, whether it's in engineering and law and medical, you have to work very hard after 4 years of a degree, because it will require from you really 36 months to build an experience. So for me, when I graduated at that time, I will not tell you which year, so because as I said, I'm still 25 years old. So when I graduated at that time, I thought, and there was with me really a captain, a mentor, who was really attached with me. He was expat. He took care of me. That guy was really, Allah yarhamah, he passed away at that time. I was in his office. As soon as I joined QAPCO at that time, young engineer, he said, you have to be with me in the office, then I will really put you in the field. For me to be in the field, that's what really got me for almost 3 years, a great experience. And when you are in the field, you will work at the beginning to really try to transfer whatever you learned at the university and try to understand what is inside the field. So you have to work at lower level with technicians, operators, contractors, and moved up. So this is how it was when I started many years ago in QAPCO.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Very insightful.
Okay.
Mr. Mutlaq?
Thank you so much. Well, I guess I'm going to speak English because I feel more comfortable, unfortunately, or fortunately. It's great to see you all. Yeah, definitely, as my friend said, you are the future, and for sure. And we are happy to see the hall full. Everybody's here. I'm kind of maybe different than my buddy here. was for us, we graduated from high school in 76 or so in Eastern Province, Saudi Arabia. We just like any kids, at that time, we just wanted to get the hell out. So we were lucky, graduated from science, high school at that time, and we got scholarship to America. So America was the dream for most of the guys, the boys I went with. And so ended up in America. At that time, the system, Saudi system, the mission was not developed enough, so there was no something to follow up. So you go and study whatever you study. You sign something here in Riyadh that you study this, but it goes away, basically. You signed just to get the scholarship. That's the name of the game. So I ended up in the University of Denver, Colorado. Ended up doing nuclear physics and mathematics because I tried to avoid English. Words in English are so long. So math and nuclear physics, mostly equations and numbers. So that was a critical one. So then I finished from there. I didn't know really what I wanted, but I knew I wanted one thing, to stay in America. So I said, okay, find me a way to stay in America. I applied to graduate schools in nuclear engineering and got admitted to Princeton University, which is an Ivy League school. I did not even know what Princeton was. I went to my advisor, Dr. Johnson. I said, I'm getting accepted to Princeton and this and this. He said, Mutlaq, are you crazy? Anybody get accepted in Princeton and doesn't jump on it? And they're even offering you a scholarship. I said, okay, that sounds good. So I ended up in nuclear engineering in fusion. Just for those who don't know, the nuclear, there's fission, splitting atoms, fusion, the field I study, combining atoms. It's just different. Like the hydrogen bomb work with fusion, the atomic bomb work with splitting uranium. And then I finished. I worked for the US government, basically, as a nuclear researcher, nuclear scientist. That was before September 11, huh? Today, maybe they won't let you in into any nuclear reactor. So anyway, and then I worked, then I got bored with research, and then I went to join Shell Oil in Houston, Texas, and worked about 7 years. And then Shell sent me to an MBA program, and I got admitted at Stanford Business School, so I did an MBA in finance. Then came back to Shell with Saudi Arabia as a chief engineer, so in the chemical plants. I worked in the US in different design, refineries, cat crackers, chemical, and all that stuff. And then with finance, that now you're rounded. And then ended up running that company in Saudi Arabia, Sadaf. Then I ran Hadid for Japan people who know. I ran the steel company. I ran different companies, different fields. So I was lucky enough to have a diversified background. Even then, did finance for 10 years as SABIC Chief Financial Officer at that time. So that's in short.
We'll definitely come back to your diversified and very versatile experience. But now I'd like to hand over the floor to Mr. Saadoon.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. سعيد جدا أن أكون وياكم اليوم ونتحدث عن تجربتنا. I didn't study outside the kingdom. I studied in the QAPCO in Dhahran. And I started in chemical engineering. And the first job I got was not in petrochemical, actually in the water and energy. It was the Sahara Water Conversion Corporation. And at that time, I was studying in Khobar and graduated. And at that time, I got a job with SWEC. And at that time, because of the graduates are small number, so we've been مدلعين شوي يعني. The first day I got a car. Second day I got a small house at the beach in Aziziyah Al-Khobar. So enjoy, يعني the first 3 or 4 years was just have fun and enjoy. After 5 years, really, I think I start to think it is not my field really, and I want to change. So I joined SABIC at that time and worked with SABIC for about 14 years or so. And then another challenge comes, which is Sipchem. Sipchem was, at that time when I joined Sipchem, was just a company on paper. There was no joint venture, there was no projects. Projects are under development. So it was a very exciting challenge, really. And it has some risk, but I chose to go for the challenge, and it was a one time of experience that doesn't happen for many times, where you establish a company from scratch, establish all the departments, establish all the projects, and now, alhamdulillah, we are having almost 15 process units, and we have offices in Asia and US and Europe. So it's a very successful story. So I'm very excited about this, really. Thank you.
Thank you. That's definitely very inspiring. So going back to you, Mr. Mutlaq, looking at the diverse knowledge, experience, and positions that you have been in, especially since you mentioned that you've been on the technical side and the non-technical side of business, how can you, or what challenges do you think that the youth should be able to overcome to become a leader in their industry, especially for the non-technical youth?
Thank you for the question. Excellent. From my experience in America, Europe, and Saudi in the Gulf, first really things for a young man or woman is to be open-minded, not to be set in one thing, that somebody's wrong, somebody's right, they're different than me. You are in the business environment. In the business environment, there is no color, no religion, nothing. That's business is business. So that's one. Number two, education, education, education. You need really to work hard. I always told people many times in SABIC and out of SABIC that the degree is a piece of paper that gets you through the door. Once you're inside the building, you have to prove yourself. Your degree is gone. So that is so important, that you keep learning and understanding and never get stuck in one job. You need to have a zigzag career, but make sure it's always the slope is right, going up, not going down. So that is extremely important. And never shy away from difficult jobs. If you get offered by your boss, your organization, something difficult, take it. Because they know you're good or she's good, and they know that it is opportunity to learn for you from that things. And that is really important. You have to work harder than the person next. Because today we work and live in a competitive environment. You really have to keep updating yourself. We become obsolete very quickly with knowledge and things. When we went to America in the 70s, the computer room was as big as this hall. That was. Today, look at it in your pocket, bigger than that room at that time. So I would say study, work hard, and be open-minded.
That's definitely inspirational. And to build on what you said, Dr. Al-Mulla, how much, taking into consideration the shifting in between or in between different disciplines, building your knowledge about different aspects of your workplace, your operation, how much innovation is key or priority in the chemical industry? And how does that, in your views, relate to the future of this industry and its competitiveness?
I just want to add to what like he said here. I think on the top of everything, you have to be, no matter how much, it's educated. So you have to have a degree, and whatever the type of degree you have to have. But then innovation will come later, because once you graduate from a university or you have a degree of 2 years or 3 years, I think you will be creative later. So the creativity will come within, as I always said, and I encourage everybody, 36 months, 48 months after having a degree, whatever the type of that degree, you will be able in that work, in that job description, to conquer and to take so much of that work in that place or in that entity. So I think you will focus when you are graduated with any degree first on your discipline. Then from there you will move outside that discipline, because whatever you studied in the university, it will give you 65% of what you need later on to gain as an experience. So today, with whatever we have, with the revolution we have in the technology, in the telecommunication, I think it's very, very easy to be innovator and to be creative and to bring so much things. Because the data today, the information we have, it was not available, as Mutlaq said, I think, when we studied many years ago, and I studied in the 80s in the USA, I think everything was very difficult. We have to go to laboratories, we have to go to libraries, we have to, even if we want to make a research, sometimes it takes us 3 to 6 months just to gather and collect data and try to build it. Today, everything is in this device. You can do everything with this device. I think with the revolution of technology today, everyone can be really creative. He can do a lot of things. I think the best things which is we're trying to do also, and I'm referring here to QAPCO and to most of the companies in Qatar, we are always trying to link ourselves with academia. Because innovation part of it, we are more on the industrial as much as we are taking care of our job description, trying to do day-to-day requirement. But we're trying to link ourselves with academia, which is they have a lot also to give us as a feed. So there is a complement between the two. So if we really miss one of it, there will be a losses here, or either on academia or an education institute or on our side. But I think with what I've been seeing for a number of years, all of us is smart. All of us who has really joined any entity, we can do it. We can make it. We can reach to the ultimate goal, which is we put and we set for ourselves. Do not be weak. You have to always be patient. I think the words here is patient. Because sometimes some of us who graduate with a degree, he think himself is superhero, he can do everything. But I think you have to work a little bit hard. And once you are there and are competent, any entity, any organization, any boss will work with you. Honestly, he will take care of you. So innovation it can be described in so many ways. Innovation, you can be in your first job and you're trying to be creative and you can try to develop things, especially when you are an engineer. Because once you work with machines, and machines always will have a hiccup. So you have to work with those machines, you have to try to repair them, you have to do a troubleshooting. So it's not easy. So you are there, you are in the routine, you are making so much development, and you will not see it. But as you grow, it always will be there.
Thank you, Dr. Al-Mulla. And you also touched on my next question to Mr. Al-Saadoon regarding the role of the youth in industry. So taking the perspective of where you were and where you are as leaders of the industry and our audience as the youth or the next generation, can you share with us what steps that you are taking as leaders within your organization to empower the youth, to help them reach higher positions or additional knowledge or gained experience?
Good. There is one general perspective of it, particularly in our industry, in the petrochemical industry or chemical industry. I think for the past 4 decades or so, the petrochemical industry have accumulated a lot of knowledge. And when we started in the 80s or so, there wasn't the number of engineers, Saudi engineers or technicians are very, very few. Now, alhamdulillah, all these industries in all the region are running by nationals. And I think we need to, for the future and for you ladies and بناتنا والشباب والشابات, is to make use of this accumulated knowledge to take it, I think, to the next level. The next level that we are missing now, I think, is the innovation, is the technology. How we can, I think that's what we should be looking at in the future, is how we can develop these technologies, how we can enhance these technologies and institute these technologies and advance it. We don't have to have every technology, bring it up from outside. I think now there is a lot of attention about research and innovation in all the companies, and this is going to help. When it comes to Sipchem, about the fresh graduates, and we have several programs. I think other companies have the same thing with regard to development programs that runs for 2 or 3 years, standard programs. But also part of this program is giving them projects that they are working on, hands-on project that they need to work on, whether it is in technical or non-technical. And this is And we are proud, alhamdulillah, في Sipchem that we have several of fresh grads that graduates that has been joined the company. Now they are in executive level and middle management levels, alhamdulillah. And it has everybody, as Mohammed mentions, everybody has to prove himself with hard work and continuous learning. And one aspect I see it that may be missing from many of fresh grads is you need to understand your company or your workplace, what is their objective, what is that company working for, what is their highest objective, and try to work your best to help in supporting achieving these goals. I think this is something that's very important, and try to distinguish yourself by hard work. And I keep hearing about you work smarter, not harder. I think you need both. You need to work harder and you need to work smarter.
Thank you. It's amazing to have this discussion and to have you here. Having the opportunity to ask you the questions, I'd like to open up the floor for the audience if they have any questions. Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Abdullah Al-Saadoon from Sipchem. Actually, now the life is changing and the science technology is improving every day like 10 times. So how to overcome all of these difficulties and to be aligned with the technology and science. And also, for example, as a maintenance engineer or mechanical engineer, it's easy to collect all of the data and be aware of all of the technical data. But how can I make it more technical and put more technology in this technical so I can be or I can use it more beneficial? Thank you.
Yes, please.
Good question. Really, the most important is you learn your job very well. You understand it, ins and out of it. Once you understand your job so well, then you will be able to move around so easily. And today, as Dr. Al-Mulla said, it's much easier. There is e-learning, there is remote learning, there is all kinds, which for our generation were not available except in a classroom. And you will never learn unless you work in the job. Like if you're a chemical guy or mechanical or whatever, electrical, you need to work in a plant. You need to get your hands dirty, like we say. Gets dirt under your nails. This is how you learn. Then after that, things, believe me, they come easier. I moved from jobs, and it was not that difficult. I nuclear, then I moved to refining, then chemical, then steel, then aluminum. Now I have also titanium and chemical. So you need to get that. Once you get the basic right, don't worry, you will be fine.
I think I just want to add one thing here. I think first, whatever the job you will take, I think you have first to stick to your job description and know it. Then from there, you will gain a lot. Yes. Because once you are there and you are with your job description, you know it, you are competent, you will be fit. Then by just taking care of it, I think you will learn the surrounding requirements and needs. Today, you cannot be a mechanical engineer unless you know a lot on business analyst. You have to develop a project. You have to know the machine breakdown. And I will just tell you a story that many years ago, when our industry only is male. When I joined the industry, it was only male, only 5 secretary ladies expats, not even a single female engineer. Today, we have more than hundreds of female engineers, which is they are working there, they are competent. It was very hard at that time to really bring them to the job and trying to train them. Today, everything is available for you. Everything is open. You can come, work hard, and depends on how really you are good there, you will be appraised. Sometimes you said, no, I have a tough boss who will not really take care of me. تعرفون احنا عندنا موضوع المحسوبية, which is, I don't see it today exists honestly. We have to be very careful. If you are good, competent, fit. No matter how hard you are, you will gain the information, you will be promoted, they will take care of you.
It's amazing to hear that from you.
I think
Yes,
just
yes.
one comment. I think I'd like to second what Mohammed said with regard to the learning and continuous learning. I think in the job, in the hands-on, every problem is an opportunity for learning. And it's not learning about only maybe your major or so. Expand your circle of learning, circle of influence about understanding other surrounding area about this problem, whether if it is mechanical, I'm sure it is also connected to instrumentation, it's connected to electrical. Try to expand your knowledge, and this is one thing that will differentiate you from others also.
Yes.
I will just add one thing. John Kennedy years ago said, don't ask what your country did for you, ask what you did for your country. Don't ask what the company or the business did for you. Ask yourself what you did for the company and the business. So you need to stick to the job, nose down, and work hard, and things will become easier and easier as you move on. You know, it's no question about it.
I will just add one thing. I had an experience when I joined the industry many years ago. I will never say how many years. So at that time, year number 1, it was only 5 of us Qatari engineers, and 5 before me left that organization, which is QAPCO. And at that time, it was dominated by JVA foreign partners. My boss was a French. He has a very bad experiences that those who left QAPCO at that time, they were always coming to seek a position which is a leadership position. So when we joined, 3 young Qatari engineers at that time, I was one of those 3, we did it in a different way. We said we have to work hard. We have to show to that French boss that we are competent. We have a good education. 2 of us graduated from local university. I graduated from USA. So we have to prove it to him. Honestly, in less than 14 months, we proved to him that we are really the one who really should take the job and replace the expats and take his position. So it depends on you. I always advise anyone, it depends on you as an individual. No one will be your good mentor. No one will be your captain. No one will be giving you a good training. It's you, how you really take care of yourself and how hard you work. As young youth, you are here today, just take my advice. Please invest in yourself and always think you are number 1. Do not think you are number 2. You can do it. You can always reach to that number 1. Do not think, no, I want to be maybe assistant boss, I want to be assistant head. Do not think of it that way. You are mature, you have enough education. Think as number 1. Never think as number 2. So once you put to yourself that goal, you will move fast and you will capture everything.
I really do appreciate, I think this is very good advice to touch up on how it's also the youth's responsibility to advocate for themselves, to take what at least they think that they are deserving of and to take lead in their own education and their own experience. Again, this is an amazing discussion, and I would like to open the floor for one last question. I can see that.
So, female now.
Female, oh yes, do we have a female delegate to ask a question?
Assalamu alaikum. Ru'ya Kharousi min OQ. So the younger speakers earlier touched a lot upon being passionate and going after what you want. And then I've noticed the difference that you were more focused on hard working, sticking to what you know. Do you think that comes from years of experience, or that's a generational thing?
We didn't hear it very well. What she said? Can you?
I think she meant it in terms of yes.
I think it's at the end is really both. You can push yourself and you can do things knowing as long as you know the job. And you have to remember the only person in charge of your career is you. You're in charge. Your company will help you. We, others, business will help. But منهاية المطاف, at the end of the day, it's you. And the sooner you get yourself up to speed, knowing the work you do, start with for day one, and get faster learning, the better your journey will be, and things will come your way very easily.
I fully support what he said. Honestly, take care of yourself. I think nobody will take care of you. And today it's very, very easy that the growth will come immediately. If you don't take care of yourself as an individual, you think that somebody will support you or will give you an advantage or will pass you to a second level of your career. Nobody will do it on behalf of you. I think you take care of yourself, you can do it, and I think today all of you is smart, you can do it easily.
And let me one thing, you're young. One thing, have fun while you're doing it.
That's what I was going to say.
Really, really have fun. Work can be boring at times. Nothing is perfect. I've talked to a lot of people in different companies, different countries. They always say, oh, the job gets boring, my boss is bored. You can always complain about your boss. But that's not going to get you anywhere. I can assure you that.
Do not live in a routine.
Yeah,
because normally when you start any job, you will see it after a number of months or years, it's become a routine.
Yeah.
Then you will hate it.
No,
but once you create this nice surrounding of, as he said, fun, you will love it. And I think majority of you here in the room today is engineers. So that's mean you are creative. You can do a lot. I think when you have a problem with a machine, you will not knock it with a hammer. You have to be creative how you can really develop that machine, how you do a better and a good troubleshooting of that machine, how you can correct it. And I think the same thing with all disciplines. I think a person who will have an accounting degree, if he doesn't know how to be creative really on showing how these numbers work and how it's developed, it will be really disaster. But I think all of you is smart, you can do it. For me and my colleagues here, the three of us, we can tell you so many things and so many stories and so many things pass through our life. But at the end, please, it's you. You can do it, and you are smart to do it. It's you as an individual. Do not go to that extent of complaints, because I hear this. Many of us love to complain, criticize. I would love you to come with a solution. If I'm a boss or a head or a manager, and you come with a solution instead of saying, no, we cannot do it, it is very difficult, you criticizing the system, you criticizing the policy, the processes we have, you will never survive. So please take it that way.
Thank you. I don't have anything to add on to that, to top that up.
أنا بضيف بس لكم شيء واحد باللغة العربية يعني أنا أحب اللغة العربية صراحة. I think وإحنا لازم كلنا نكون فخورين باللغة العربية. ليش؟ كل المجتمعات العالمية لو تشوفين الألماني وتشوف الألماني يتكلم ألماني، دراسته بالألماني، الياباني بالياباني، كلنا نحب نتعلم اللغات هاي. فأنا أقول لكم ونصيحتي لكم خلكم صبورين. الصبر زين، صبورين. وبعدين عندنا لازم يكون عندنا اللي احنا دائما نقول ريسبكت، الاحترام ضروري جدا. يعني احترم المكان اللي انت فيه وخليك صابر قد ما تقدر، وفي النهايه بتوصل له. فانا اتمنى انتم الان الجنريشن الجديد لا تعلمون عيالكم كلها لازم يتعلم اللغه الانجليزيه البحته، علمه 20 لغه بس علمه اللغه العربيه. اتمنى لان اشوفكم كلكم قاعدين برا والله قاعدين ما شاء الله عليكم كلكم ربع وبرع ترطنون باللغه الانجليزيه، وامك وابوك اللغه العربيه. اتمنى يا بناتنا يا حلوين يا شبابنا يا حلوين اللغه العربيه فالله بها هي لغة القرآن، لغة العلم. نتمنى منكم، يعني أنا لاحظت هالملاحظة، قلت لازم أوصل لكم باللغة العربية.
أقول أنا بجيب الدكتور عندي، لأنه أنا ومرتي كلنا سعوديين عرب، ويلا بنتنا تعرف عربي. الايباد والتي في it's I agree with you, but it is getting more difficult. The world is connected, we like it or not, and the world of the internet is
ممكن نشكر هنا.
ممكن بس
تفضل وايد من خدمة.
لا
I pretty much think that the audience is enjoying the discussion.
مهم جدا. أنا بس نقطة واحدة باك إن your start about your beginning of knowledge compared to me and our generation is way better. So I think you are going to be much and achieve much better better outcome and the results from what we have done, and because your beginning is much higher than us, and in your way, just as mentioned, have fun, enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey, really. I mean, you have to have a balanced life. You have to enjoy yourself and enjoy your friendship, enjoy work, enjoy learning, and inshallah موفقين بمشيئة الله. You are the future.
Absolutely.
Okay, we would like to really pass a great appreciation to GPCA as entity, as institute. This is the area where they brought all of you here today. They are doing it well done. I am with them since 2007. So GPCA has moved fast, and I think in the past 3 years, due to innovation and creativities, and would like to take care of young, I think you are the future of the Gulf entities to be taking care of what is the next generation want of you. Focus, be patient, respect each other, take care of your parents if they are alive, and I think all of them is alive. وتعلموا اللغة العربية البحتة. شكرا جزيلا.
Thank you. I mean, I don't have a better statement to close this
لازم
session.
نشكر فاطمة also for running the session. Great job.
يعطيكم العافية.
Great job.
Thank you for the very engaging session.